We wasn't quite sure what the time was. All the phones are saying 7:30, but the Parish Council clock is a bit slow. Or it might be right. But a very warm welcome, if that's the right word, to Councillor Osborne from Lenham Council.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Hope you enjoy your evening. Yes. And if we could just go straight on to the police and the rural warden reports. There's no specific order there. Whoever would like to go first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to mention just a couple of things. We've got another list of people who are victims of scams that we're currently visiting as a team. So if anybody hears of anybody that's having a problem, or they're talking to their postman and they're worried about somebody, by all means give me a ring, and I'm quite happy to go around and talk to them. I've got information packs so they can give some advice about the different types of scams there are. The other thing I've been asked to draw everybody's attention to is there's a link on the Kent County Council website. There's a picture on it. It's called Keep Warm, Keep Well This Winter. I'll email details to Amanda in minutes, but if you click on that, it gives you a whole raft of advice and information ranging from health, boiler replacement, insulation, home safety visits by the fire service, and there's also some numbers, particularly about help with heating and insulation costs and the fire service, but also advice to professionals as well, things to look out for and checking on elderly or vulnerable residents. And there's a phone number for Age UK if you want to refer or get them to ring Age UK for advice, or again ring me. But as I say, it's on the KCC website, and I'll email more details to Amanda tomorrow. That's it, unless there's any questions.
Yeah, Martin, just one question. Most of the meetings we hear about scams that are going. People that get arrested for these scams, or they're just ongoing.
Funnily enough, we went on an input from the National Trading Standards team on Monday, and they've upped their estimate on how much money is lost in this country. They used to say about £5 billion a year, but they're saying it's probably more like 8 to 10. And the problem is most of the scammers are overseas, so that makes it more difficult to trace. So the National Trading Standards Office are focusing on advice and prevention and minimising risk because of the problem of tracing the overseas criminals, which is what they are.
8 to 10 billion. That's great, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. There was theft of garden statues from front garden down Marley Road. There was criminal damage to a property in Church Crescent. We have suspects identified for this, and this is being resolved through community resolution. There's damage to glass of an outbuilding, Court Lodge Road. Down the Ashford Road and Church Lane, we have theft of a padlock and pressure washer from the building site, and Church Lane damage to a window fuel tank and the theft of a generator and tools from building site. We have recently stopped a car in another village, which I've just found out is suspected of theft from building sites. So that could be something in there, so that's good. During this period, there were 35 incidents reported to the police, including above crimes. We have had a little bit of ASB in the village recently. That is linked to that criminal damage, and we have a meeting with one of the families this Friday. So the issue is being addressed, as is normal, but hopefully we'll calm it down again. Yeah, can I urge everyone who sees anything suspicious, please, or anything, to call the police in any way on 101, please.
Could you briefly explain what a community resolution is?
Well, basically they pay back to the community. The damage they've caused, basically the family will pay for that damage, and there'll be some sort of recompense in paying back to the community.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
That's great, thanks ever so much. Thank you.
Do you mind if we...
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I can open it up now to the audience participation. Colin.
I've got a point. This actually relates to items 16 and 17, but it could actually relate to any item on the agenda. I just wanted to make a point that I think it'd be useful if more background information was provided, so people know what the item's about and what councillors, are requiring, and also if there's any proposal, because I think what could be useful is obviously councillors have to make an informed decision, and that could be through research or whatever, but maybe the members of the public could add more or offer more information or give an opinion, whereas if you don't provide that information, people don't know what it's about, so come the main, your closed session, you can make a decision that then public could comment on in the second public session when you've already made the decision. So I think maybe if you had more information on the items on the agenda and you said what the proposal was, it would allow people to contribute, hopefully, positively.
That's a good point. Thanks very much.
Yep.
Is there any other questions at all? Anne's just waiting to touch a ceiling. Okay, if we can move on to the main agenda of the evening, I think we've just got one apology for absence tonight, which is Councillor Morris. Tonight there'll be a good decision. Was it item 23 relating to staffing matters? This will happen after the end of the meeting tonight. We're under a close session. So if I can just go straight on to item number 4, which was the minutes of the last meeting. I'll take it everybody's seen the minutes. So I can have a proposer and a seconder, please. Proposer. Glenda, seconder, Matt?
All in favour?
All in favour? Okay, item number 5, declaration of interests. Is there any changes to the register of interests? Any declarations of pecuniary interests? No? Any requests for dispensation? We're going really well. Item number 6, planning.
Yes.
Okay, Matt, I heard you say yes then. Is there?
Yeah, that was an ironic yes.
Right. Well, I'll go on to 6.3. I've got one update actually that I had this evening, but I'll take 6.3 first of all, which is to move the planning meetings to a Friday morning, and that's been proposed by Councillor Dean. I mean, that was always originally.
It was always the case, and then to suit
a golfer.
We moved it to Monday, and now he's not here anymore, so can we go back to Friday? That suits everybody.
Well, I'm quite happy with that, so Max seconded. I was going to say I was favourable because it just relates to the planning committee. The planning committee are quite happy with that, so.
With effect from when?
In January.
January.
Okay, there's just one other item that I got this evening from the council, just to say that there was an issue raised at a recent planning committee at Maidstone about the West Street parking. The council was actually asked to look at that, and it was referred to another committee. Well, that answer will be coming back to the planning committee at Maidstone next Thursday. I've got no more information than that, and even if I did, you would know about it afterwards. Okay, item number 7 on the agenda, which is the communications report. I see there's no recommendations from the communications committee, or is there?
There's not much progress with the new website, actually. not transferring over, is it?
Well, they've started moving our website over to the new WordPress site. It's not live yet, but they've sent me a link to look at it. It's not good. So, yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen.
So, communications committee look at that.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll look at it.
Oh, and just before we move off, there is communications training day.
Oh, yeah.
Is it in January? Yeah, in January. I'll send you the details, Matt, to see if you're free that day if you want to go.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's nothing else on communications?
No, I'm going to go to this training.
Right, okay. Straight to the environmental, I can see that there's no issues.
No, there's
from
no
this.
issue. I'll just give you an update. The gates to the new burial ground, they're going to be actually fixed tomorrow. And the wooden ones that were vandalised, they're on order and they'll be about 10 days from now. And the fence post in Woodlands Walk that's snapped, that's going to be replaced tomorrow as well. And this just happened this afternoon, I got that information. And the cornice and rebus on the village green have now been approved. So that's it.
Can I give you that key?
Yeah, I'll put it out.
That's excellent. Has anybody else got anything to add to that from the environmental?
The fact I nearly fell in the hedge is I got out of the car. The hedge is growing very in the parish full car park.
Well, it can't be growing now.
No, it has. It's about that far. So you open the door, you can't open the door.
Matt, watch what you're doing next time.
Don't damage that hedge.
No,
Okay, finance report.
That's the income expenditures.
Yeah, I'll take it everybody's seen this report. I don't know if there's any questions at all which relate to that around the table. Some people have seen the report and do agree. Have a proposer for that, please. That's Glenda again, second it's on. All in favour?
Mate, may I ask a question? How do we get along with the online banking?
Well, that was discussed at F&GP. It's now to be discussed this evening as part of approving the minutes. So assuming you say yes, then I'll go ahead and get full time.
The F&GP minutes of the 9th of November. If I can have somebody to propose them. Have you got a question?
I've got a question.
You've got a question, that's okay.
And it relates to the online banking, actually. I know it's the modern way and the way that we should try and go from the point of view of expediency, but it's always been my concern that when you use online banking, you don't, or you haven't previously needed to have more than one person to activate the transaction, and that leaves not only the individual who's carrying out the action, but it leaves others exposed potentially. Now, I don't for 1 minute think that there's any impropriety. What I'm saying is we have a duty of care to the person pressing the button, if you like.
Just before we do that, let's just sign off because these are just to say it's a factual record of the meeting.
Okay, well, I wasn't part of that, so I'll
So you proposed, you seconded, and there was 3 of you at the meeting, so you're all happy with the minutes? Right, so you sign those and then we can... Right, so then now we can talk about banking.
So that was my concern, is that we are taking all care to protect individuals who are carrying out transactions on behalf of the parish council, when as far as I would know, then only requires one signature, electronic or otherwise, to activate the
Apparently it
transactions.
does, but there is a mechanism, isn't there?
Because of the way the NatWest do their online banking for charities and small organisations, which is where we come under, you're right, there is only one signature. So the solution to that is, at the moment, every cheque needs 2 signatures.
Yeah.
So what I'm proposing is that we have a schedule of all the proposed payments. That schedule has to be signed by 2 councillors, and then it goes in that order and will appear therefore on the bank statement in that order. There's only one person with access to online banking, so we know who did it. That'll be me. And I've lumped the whole scenario past the internal auditor, who said he's perfectly happy.
So will we then get a reconciliation of...
Well, you'll get the usual monthly bank spreadsheets.
And who will reconcile those to the bank statement?
Well, you have the bank reconciliation anyway. If you look on the back of the sheet you've got the bank reconciliation, which shows the total in the bank time back to the transactions.
Okay, as long as you're happy that you're protected, Mike, because that's the only concern.
I'm the only one that will be doing the transactions, so I know I'm okay.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions on the online banking? We should probably take a vote that everybody's quite happy to proceed with that, so if I can have a proposer for that. Tom, and a seconder? Jackie?
Yeah.
All those in favour? Yeah, if you go through the notes.
Mr. Chairman, before you do grants and donations, I noticed in the minutes that was the donation or grants been discussed regarding the tennis club, has our son plays tennis on an infrequent basis. I took no part in that discussion regarding that, but I won't be reading it.
No.
Is that better?
Jackie. Fernando, did you want to
Yeah,
run through
okay.
this?
So, grants and donations have come in for this financial year. The list has obviously been circulated to everyone. So the recommendations from the F&GP committee, the Harrietsham Amateur Music Society, are rather than offering a financial grant, they would instead offer a free loan of equipment to use at their own risk. So that was. Do you want me to just run through them, or do you want to vote on each one individually, or do you want to do it bulk at the end? If we do them all apart from the tennis one,
yeah.
So do all the others bulk, and then we'll do the tennis one separate. Yeah. Harrietsham History Society, that they be offered a grant of £500, which was the amount that they requested. Harrietsham Fish Scheme, again £500 be offered. The church offer a grant of £450. Messy Church, they've asked for a grant of £400, but as there's 4 parishes that are actually involved in Messy Church, the recommendation is that we give a grant of £100, or that they be asked to approach the other parishes. The Friday Coffee Morning, the recommendation is that the council confirm that it's happy to pay for the hall hire as in previous years, which will be from April till the following March. There's a late one coming for the big lunch 2017. Somebody new has put in the application and didn't know how much they usually ask for. They've actually put in a grant for £500. But we would usually give a grant of up to £150, and that would be on us paying them the receipts. So, unless councillors have got any concern, I would suggest that you sort of go with all that's done. And the other one, Harrietsham in Bloom, obviously they need to know in advance for their money, so the grant will actually be for 2017-18. And that is a grant of £500. So they're all of the grants minus the tennis one at this point. So is everyone happy with them, or has anyone got any comments? Or? Sorry? So I'm happy. Are you going to propose that we propose that? Yeah. Will somebody second those grants? is everyone in favour of those ones? Okay, and then separately, the tennis club, the recommendation is that a grant of £200 be offered, which was the amount that they did actually request. So
May I have that? Another year?
Yeah.
So, do you want me to propose
you
that?
have to know. Would someone second the tennis club? And is everybody else in favour? Opposite club. The only other points to make in the finance minutes would be discussing work that needed to be done on the play equipment. So the recommendation is to try and get the Section 106 money to pay for the work that's needed. Obviously, if we can't get that, I have emailed the officer that deals with that, but she's been on holiday, so she hasn't got back to me. But the recommendation is that if it's not approved, that we can use the Section 106 money, which it should be because it does say in there we can use it for repairs, that the parish council will obviously cover the costs. So that's the recommendation.
Yeah. I think we have to because this equipment has to be maintained. Yeah.
So is everyone happy with that?
Okay, item number 10 on the agenda, which is highways. Janetta?
Obviously, we'll discuss parking in West Street, otherwise that's on the agenda. The only things are, obviously, there's a lot of potholes that are being repaired, hopefully around every way. The standard of them, I don't know. We'll have to see whether they stay where they are or